Hi everybody, welcome back to Mana Mindset. We're going to do something a little different today. I was invited by my very good friend Tiare Thomas to come on her IGTV live to meet her for coffee. And I'm actually recovering from surgery that I just had a couple days ago. So I'll be drinking a lot of water today to kind of flush out my system. But yeah, I'm going to turn it over to Tiare, and we wanted to try to capture this on IGTV and on Zoom, so that people could watch this later on YouTube and also on her page at Tiare Thomas on IGTV. So I'm turning it over to you.
Okay, we are live now.
There we go.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
There we go.
I'm just going ahead and inviting our special guests and some friends, just making sure they know we are live. There you are. Awesome. So welcome for Meet Me for Coffee. I do this hangout date day with a girlfriend every day, usually every morning. And today we are going to be talking about energy. We've been talking about energy all week. And I have got a special guest. Our date today is Britt Yap, and she is tuning in just a few seconds. There she is. Okay, awesome. Hello there, beautiful.
Good morning.
Good morning. The energy is vibrant because I got two of you in front of me.
Yes, we are trying something different with Zoom and IGTV today. So we'll see how this works.
Yeah. We did a little test last night. So the other day, I was so bummed. I was so sad because we did this great Meet Me for Coffee talk with Mele. Yeah. And I went to go and to post this on my IGTV, the recording, and it kicked me out. It rebooted, and I totally lost the video. So, Hi, Dad. Good morning. So Britt had asked me, hey, have you ever thought of doing it on YouTube? So we're recording this on Zoom. We're live here. It'll be posted on my IGTV, and then it'll also be posted up on YouTube. This will be the first video of Meet Me for Coffee posted on YouTube. It'll be posted on mine and Britt's as well. So Britt is, she is an amazing mama. I've known her for quite some time now. We actually met a while back, and she, wait, who introduced us? Was it Juliet or?
I don't know. Was it Ito?
It was Ito. That's right. Yes. So Ito, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So Ito gave me your business card,
and
I was like, talking about, how, okay, I wanted to do some things with my business. And he's like, I really think you should call Britt. I think you guys would hit it off. She's a business coach. She does all these other things. And then we totally hit it off. I wound up getting business coaching sessions from you, loving them.
And the hypnosis session, I think. Really,
and the hypnosis session.
To really help you just go forward with like the coaching in front of people, and speaking your truth and opening up about, really honestly releasing this area so you could just do your thing and not be nervous anymore on how you delivered it. It's just like, this is my truth. This is what I know. And you've been doing amazing. Ever since. Like, it's been amazing to watch you. Yeah.
And there's always like other, layers to it. Right. And so, this Meet Me for Coffee show has been like that next layer of me really breaking through to like really be present in front of other people, so like in the social platform with my voice, not so much pictures, but more of my voice. So so we did a hypnosis session. That was really powerful. You do past life regressions, you do your Reiki teacher. And then we were also, you had invited me to be on the board of a network marketing company for women, and you were the president, right? And that was from Confessionals, Hawaii chapter. You did such a great job at that. I was so inspired. So you would do these events every month, and get all these wahines together.
It was a fun
all these
time.
unique gifts.
It was such a fun time. Like, I think
Yeah.
about that and like, oh, we had fun. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and it kept everyone like accountable for what they were working on in their business. And then we could share and give feedback. And it was just a lot of momentum that people have a hard time finding, you know, groups of people that they can hold them accountable and bounce ideas off of. So it just felt like really organic, and it's like you wanted to get stuff done because, you know, everybody else is working on stuff for their business too. So that was really fun.
Yeah, there's something powerful about like masterminding with other like-minded women, which is what you really helped to bring together too, which was really, and you made it fun. You made it super fun. So
yeah.
And you're healing today, right?
A lot of healing. Yeah. I mean, the full moon was last night. I had surgery on Tuesday. Sending a lot of gratitude to my husband and my mother-in-law who have been holding it down with the babies. I think like I think my daughter and Reef kind of know us, like something's up because mom's not holding me as much, or because I can't like lift anything and stuff. So they've been patient. So it's been nice, but this has definitely been, I feel like the word today is like surrender. That's just coming to me with the full moon and everything, and just where I'm at in my life right now. And a lot of everyone is like, it's unknown. This year has been so much unknown. It's kind of like just surrendering to the whole process of whatever is going to be is going to be. And even with my healing, I have to not push how fast I can heal or all of that, and just kind of surrendering to, okay, this is what today is going to be like, you know. I'm kind of like always wanting to be productive, so this is like painfully forcing me to slow down for a couple days. So that's been kind of like, okay, Britt, relax. You can take some time, heal. You don't have to be working. So yeah.
Yeah, I remember we were talking the other day, and you're over there folding clothes and telling me how, you know, you just can't really sit still. I totally can relate.
Multitasking. Yeah. When you have kids, it's like you gotta multitask. It's crazy.
A lot of stuff going on. My dad says, I gotta get ready for work now. Love you and hope your day's amazing. Thanks, Dad. Yeah, so I hope that you have a great day, Dad, too. So what we're gonna do today is we're really gonna talk about focusing on energy, and more so talking about your inner child and parenting, and how that is correlated, and even preparing to have a child if you're thinking about, you know, with your partner wanting to get pregnant, or you know, there could be some things that could really help you to be an even more present, loving parent, with holding an even deeper and bigger container for them. Yeah. And so would you, where do you want to start?
Well, I mean,
I've
just been getting a lot of moms reaching out to me for Reiki, or people who want to start trying to have a baby. And I just keep feeling more and more that our generation, like the healing that we're doing is so powerful, because it's not just for ourselves. So the healing that our generation is doing is for our children and grandchildren, and also for our ancestral line. So 7 generations back. So I hear sometimes, like, you know, I don't think my mom's ever going to realize, you know, or really do the healing work before she transitions to the next life. And I tell my clients that's okay, because you can do the healing work that can actually help your ancestors and help your mom, you know. And with energy, so I just see patterns all day long. I observe energy, and energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred or transformed. And and we learned that in physics class, guys, high school, or 7th grade. You know, energy has to either be transferred or transformed. And so I am working on becoming a transformer of anything that I don't like, and I can transform it to something better. You know, so that's what I'm really helping moms and dads work on, is to identify, what do I not want to pass on to my daughter or to my son? What patterns do I kind of want to end with me, and transform that energy to something more positive? right? What have I been told, or what patterns have I observed from my parents and my grandparents and great grandparents that it no longer works. It no longer fits with society. It no longer fits with the awakening that's happening for our kids. And then how do I transform that energy? Yeah. So I've been really working with women on that and identifying, like, what do I not want to continue forward?
Yeah.
You know?
Beautiful. And so what does something like that look like with the process of Reiki and, you know, the other things that you do?
It's pretty fascinating because, you know how I'm not going against science or medical world, but I want to say, as an energy observer myself. So let's say somebody has breast cancer, okay? So it shows me the energy is being stuck here in the heart chakra. So something's going on here, self-love, relationships, relationship with a spouse or a mom or a dad, that maybe needs to be resolved because the energy is getting stuck right here, right? And if it's not worked through, in time, it's going to turn to something chronic, which is cancer. So that's what I see a lot of. So people come to me with breast cancer, we've talked through and energetically unblock this area. And sometimes it takes many healing sessions, you know? I believe in miraculous healings, one session done, but many times it took a lot for that to get to that point. So there's going to be a lot of healing to unpack that. Throat chakra, when people come in and complain about, you know, this area, or thyroid issues, or heaviness, just tension around their shoulders, I observe that that's something that's stuck here because they haven't spoken their truth on something. Maybe there's someone they have to say something to. Maybe, you know, they didn't express themselves when they were a kid and now they have a hard time as an adult, right? So helping them work through that so they don't pass that on to their daughter or to their son, where that's because we learn from our parents how to hold stress or how to deal with stress. We learn from our parents whether we can speak up or can't speak up, or just, you know, do what you're supposed to do. Keep your head down. Don't ruffle any feathers, right? We hear things growing up that our parents teach us, and then it internalizes, and that energy has to go somewhere if it's not released. Yeah. So all day long, I'm just observing energy in people and helping them get to the root cause of that. Usually that's somewhere in their childhood, and then energetically helping them to release that energy and unblock that area. Yeah.
And when you're saying childhood, what ages are you looking at? Going back as far as
2 to 12 is usually when the first seed was planted, and everything after that is a reminder of that experience. So then it just keeps repeating as an adult. So we have to go all the way back to that first experience. Like, when did you feel like you weren't good enough? When did you feel like it wasn't safe to speak up? You know, when did you feel like you didn't feel stable at all? Like you were worried about money? You know, that goes, sometimes it actually goes all the way back to the womb, where I worked with people who have been in their mom's womb, and their mom was going through so much trauma that they've taken that on. Their spirit has taken on some of the mom's trauma. So it actually can go all the way back to the womb. Wow. Yeah, it's been pretty fascinating to see what these people remember. Like, they can remember. I don't remember anything before I was 2. But some people can, if it's that traumatizing, they can actually have memories of like womb or 1 year old. Yeah.
And what something I learned through NLP, for those of you who don't know what NLP is, it's neuro-linguistic programming, and so it's really understanding how the brain works, how the subconscious works, and the language of it. And what I've learned is that, you know, going back to when you're a little child, sometimes the trauma that comes up is purposely forgotten by your subconscious to protect you.
Oh, yeah.
And so it won't let you remember.
Yeah.
In certain cases.
Yep.
And it's quite fascinating how all this works, like inside, and I don't even know it's happening. And when you're talking about the patterns and everything, and then the physical manifestation for me, you know, like my jaw is where I feel the tension when I'm in stress, and usually the stress comes out if I don't want to create any sort of like conflict or confrontation with speaking my truth.
Yep.
And I'll put like certain, I'll create like a little story of what that person's reaction is going to be. Okay. If they carry a certain energy, right? Yeah. That reminds me of certain people so it's like a trigger. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden I'll physically feel it. And then, you know, I'm like, why is my jaw so tight? And then I'll go back and go, oh, okay. And so when I did a lot of like emotional healing for that inner child, so much of it has relaxed and healed, and there's always more. There's always more healing to do. That's the thing. Yeah. So like, what do you do with your clients? Do you mind sharing with your clients and like the regimen that you usually have that you've been creating, especially with people with like a lot of childhood trauma, whether it's abuse, sexual abuse, you know, or maybe it's, you know, death, you know, any of those kind of things?
I mean, everyone asks me like, how many times should I come see you? How often? And I don't have the answer because everyone's so different and everyone's schedule and finances are different too. So I want to get to a place where my clients don't rely on me as much. So if they wanted a tune-up and come once a month, that's fine. But right in the beginning, if there's a lot to unpack, like they might want to see me every other week for a couple sessions to just really unpack those things. But I really try to have a very full session. My first session is always 2 hours, and it gives us a lot of time to talk through things and let things come up. And I want them to have some take homes, like some homework and some things they could do at home until the next time I see them. But just know that healing is a process. I think in the Western world and in this colonized world, we think things have to happen fast all the time. And just because your healing is not happening as fast as you want, it doesn't mean that you're not taking steps forward on it. It doesn't mean that it's not helping. It is helping. We just have to be patient. I think we forget how many years are packed on of that we have to unpack. So it's going to take time, you know? So just being very gentle with yourself as you're going through this process is very important. Very, very important. I mean, for me, it's my stress has always been held in my solar plexus, in my stomach area. I was diagnosed, you know, with ulcerative colitis at 20 years old. And so it's funny that my surgery, again, a couple of days ago was on my stomach. So I've been talking to my stomach lately, like, thank you. You've been through so much with me. Like, we've been on this journey together. Like, thank you for holding it down. Like, you're resilient. Like, I've been energetically like thanking my stomach because we've just been through so much together, and it really does take on the stress. It goes to my stomach first, other than, you know, my other chakras and stuff. It goes here. So I've just been like blessing this area time and time again, doing Reiki on my stomach, just thanking it. So even that, just like thanking this area, you know, for being with you, for being able to adapt and be flexible and keep pushing forward, because I think we need to thank our body parts and our energy centers. We forget to do that, and I think we need to do that more often, for sure. Yeah.
I love that you thank your body.
Yeah.
There's a meditation that I learned where you do noting, and then you do a body scan, and then you look for where you're feeling the tension or the suffering, and then you send it love.
Yeah.
And that reminds me of that. And I think that thanking my body would create a lot more peace and a lot more like relaxed and calm feelings.
Yeah.
Mentally, emotionally, and physically.
Yeah. And, you know, you and I both had babies recently during COVID, which is crazy. That's a crazy experience in itself. But even, you know, at this time, I'm just like, I'm not going to have any more babies. I'm done. But just thanking my body for carrying my 2 babies successfully and being able to look at them every day. And so I also do a lot of gratitude to my stomach and to my body, because I'm like, hey girl, you don't look like you look when you're in your 20s, but you know what, you carried these two beautiful babies, and this is what we have now. And, you know, and now I can work on healing and changing my diet and doing those things that I want to do, but without pushing myself too hard, because I want, you know, people get caught up with what things look like on Instagram, and everyone's body needs to be like this model form all the time. And it's like, no, I just had a baby.
Yeah.
Thank you, stomach. Thank you for my body to be able to do that. So just reminding women out there to also just like thank your body and whatever stage you're at on your journey, just to be grateful. And that's what I did a lot with when Taya was in me. I knew I wasn't going to have any more kids after her. So every moment I just said, this is probably the last time I'm going to feel kicks like this in my stomach. This is the last time I'm going to feel nauseous like this. So like, just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Even though it's like uncomfortable, I'm going to miss this at somewhere down the line. I'm going to miss it. So I was just trying to enjoy every moment and be present through the, you know, carrying her for those 9 months. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can relate, like the I really got to learn a whole lot about my body. Right? Being pregnant, going through labor, and then especially like I didn't realize how much healing would be taking place after I gave birth. I was so focused on, okay, you know, the delivery or the labor, right? Like, okay, I'm learning all this stuff about that. But I never really like put into consideration like that the healing process would take more than, you know, a week.
Yes.
I'm still healing. Still healing. And, you know, I'm not even surfing right now still. And, you know, everybody's on their own journey. I chose not to surf. Some of my girlfriends and some people I see do surf, and, you know, everybody, while they're pregnant, and everybody's on their unique journey, and they trust their body. They know their body more than anybody else. And so, yeah, for me, definitely, you know, with the whole, one of the things I do is I don't weigh myself. In fact, I've never weighed myself once after the doctor weighed me when I was pregnant. Because it, to me, like, if I'm focused on that, like, it's like, why? For me, it's like, okay, I'm eating intuitively. I eat what I want to eat. I drink what I want to eat. And, you know, the only time I ever really questioned my weight as I was healing was, I was like, oh snap, I might have to go shopping for new pants, new jeans. I don't think I'm ever going to fit my jeans again. And then with this COVID thing, how am I going to find jeans? That was like my big concern. And then I was like, well, I guess I get to go shopping again. That's cool. And thank goodness I have some stretchy jeans. So I have been able to fit back into those now, which is nice. And I'm okay with not fitting in back into all of my clothes. Like, you know, I'm really been able to embrace my body as it's been changing through the times. What have you noticed, like, as far as, you know, going back to the inner child and parenting, because I really do want to highlight this, because for me, like, this is my passion. This is why I do Aloha Dream Board, is when there's happier parents, happier teachers in the world, the children are safer. They're more loved. They're supported in a way that, like, I feel like they really are worthy of and deserve. So anything else that you want to touch upon?
I mean, I work with people who are trying to conceive, and I give the analogy that you want your womb to be like the Four Seasons, not the motel down the street. And what I mean by that is energetically, you want it to be so relaxing, so comfortable, so feel good that your baby wants to stay in your womb for 9 months and have a wonderful time there and grow really big and strong, right? And you don't want them to, like, no offense to a motel, but you don't want your womb to be so stressful that it feels like they're in a motel with people yelling next door and shots being fired outside or whatever. So I try to give them the analogy of, like, you want to create this really sacred space for your baby to want to live for 9 months. And that means your energy has to come correct. Your energy has to feel good and grounded and loving. And I'm not saying it's going to be perfect all the time, but I think people forget how much their energy impacts their kids. Whether in the womb or outside of the womb, your kids are so connected to you that if you feel something, they're gonna feel it. Reef, like if he gets stressed out, or if I get stressed out, he can feel it, and then he gets constipated. That's how I know he's stressed, and or he gets itchy. He's super sensitive, and his skin gets itchy, and I know that he's feeling my stress. So they're like our mirror, and they are really here to teach us. These kids, these souls coming into the world now that are vibrating so high, they're really here to teach us a lot of things. We're here to guide them and to keep them safe and make sure they fulfill their purpose and are happy, right? But they're also here to teach us a lot of things too. So I really want people to focus on the energy that they bring into their home. And I always say this, the mom has the power to change the energy in her household. However you come home today is going to dictate the whole house, right? How Eric feels, how Louis feels. Yep, everyone's going to vibrate off of your energy. So I need to be aware of that and come into my space in the most loving, calm way possible. Because everyone can feel my energy when I come into the space. If I come in yelling, frantic, upset, all of that, they all can feel that too, right? And so, and Reef is really good at holding Rod and I accountable. Like, he doesn't even like when our tone sounds angry. He like goes up to us and like taps our lip to scold us. So he scolds us, straight up scolds us if he does not like the tone. So sometimes when my husband is talking about, let's say he's talking about work or something, and my husband's telling a story and maybe he sounds like angry. Reef can't distinguish if it's a story or if he's angry. He just knows this doesn't sound good. The tone sounds aggressive. I don't like it. And so he'll go, until we stop. Like he'll make a very annoying sound to basically tell us stop talking like that. So he is the energy accountability person in the house. He won't let us it's amazing they really hold a mirror up to you. And so just know as a mom how you step into your space and the energy that is in your house, you dictate that, right? So if you want that energy to shift, you have to shift.
What about for the people who are not mothers, or their kids are out of the house and it's just the two of them, or just being a woman, period? Like, what do you have to say to them? Like, where does energy come into place coming into the household?
I think if you don't have kids and I think coming back to just energy on like how you interact with everyone, from your parents to your coworkers to your boss, it's all energy exchange. And sometimes you just need to shut that out and like recharge your batteries and stay at home. Because people tell me all the time, like, is it weird that I just like staying at home and like not going out anymore? I'm like, no, you need to recharge. Because what's actually happening at work, for example, if you work with a lot of people, if people don't know how to ground themselves, they're going to ground on your energy because you feel strong. So they don't know how to do self-care. They don't know that they should be going outside and, being with Mother Earth or going to the beach. They don't know how to ground. So they ground on your energy because you feel stronger to them. They don't mean to do it, but that's why sometimes people feel drained after talking to a coworker or talking to a friend. They feel like completely depleted. Yeah, because they didn't mean to, but they're kind of sucking your energy. So you need to go home or go be outside with nature and recharge. So that would be my advice if as far as energy, to just kind of be aware of and have boundaries. Definitely have healthy boundaries. And it's okay to say, I'm not going to participate in that today, or I can't take that call tonight. I'm just going to rest.
What about the guilt that comes up with the no's? I'm not going to do this. I'm going to decline. Oh my gosh, I'm such a horrible person. I said no. What do you say to people like who are experiencing that guilt?
I would rather someone be honest with me than us go through something and they're resentful while we're doing it. right? Like I would rather someone say, hey, tonight I just can't, how about tomorrow? Because then you get the best energy from them, right? Like, so I think being honest, and if you're not going to speak up for yourself, people are going to create boundaries for you, which means no boundaries. So you seriously,
No
right?
boundaries.
If you don't create them, people are just going to walk all over you. So it's a good thing to learn how to create boundaries for yourself, whether in the workplace, whether with your family, you know, with your siblings, whatever that looks like, because you have to be honest with them. And I tell you, a lot of people will respect the boundaries if you just put it out there. They will. They'll have to. What are the choices? Like you just say no. I mean, I can't, you know? So they're going to have to adjust to the time that you're ready to do that. So, yeah, I think people just need to get better about setting boundaries. Because like I said, the worst thing is for them to start feeling resentful towards a coworker, towards a family, towards a responsibility. Like that's not a good energy to come from, like a resentful place. So speak up before it gets to that point.
And at the same time, it's easier said than done, right? Because for me personally, I've experienced that like majority of my life where it's like, I said yes to so many things, especially in the beginning of the relationship with Eric and I would always get sick. I would find myself sick all the time because I would want to please and say yes to things and be here for that person or support this person. And until I learned how to create boundaries, and then until I did more self-healing, more emotional work, I wasn't able to really like see and having that understanding, like how could I get rid of that guilt and really see that, oh, saying no there to this person means saying yes to my health. It means saying yes to my family. It means saying yes to all the things that are going to nourish my body. And it's going to be a win-win situation for that person that I'm saying no to and for myself. And it wasn't that easy at first. And so for, you know, what comes to mind is like your hypnotherapy sessions, Reiki, I'm not sure like where that comes into place, but like, are those things that you can help people with when they're feeling like, I feel so freaking guilty for saying no, and I'm so drained and I keep getting sick because I say yes so much. Yeah. Because
like if like you said, if that keeps going on, the energy is going to get trapped somewhere, and then it's going to manifest to something worse than just being sick. It might be something chronic. So I don't want that to happen, because I've had to live with a chronic, you know, autoimmune thing for so long that I don't scare my clients, but I kind of tell them like, hey, I've been on the other end of it where I was stubborn and it got to the point where I was diagnosed with, you know, an autoimmune thing. So like, let's fix this now and set boundaries and speak up now so that you don't have to suffer the way I did, you know, with my body yelling at me, like trying to wave flags and get my attention. It's really what it was doing. You know, it was like, Britt, slow down, stop, hello, no, you know. So we have to listen to our bodies on what we can and, you know, shouldn't do, because like I said, you have to come from the spirit of like, I want to be here, I want to show up, and I'm not doing it because I have to, right? So I always tell people, make decisions out of love and not out of fear, right? Make decisions out of love, not out of fear. Because too many times people are making very important decisions out of fear. Or not taking the next step out of fear, or going along this way because they're afraid of what their parents are going to think about them, or, you know, whatever that is. Start to make decisions from a place of love at that higher vibration, and things will start to align quicker.
And so going back to like what you offer people, like where does the hypnotherapy come in, or like what would you recommend for somebody if they want to, you know, extra assistance with something like that? Would it be Reiki? Would it be hypno? Would it be, you know, the other things that you offer?
I think for the first session, I always like to do a 2-hour Reiki and life coaching session. That way we can really get somewhere as far as, you know, they have to tell me what's been going on in their life. And if we can unpack even to some childhood stuff, that's even better. And then they finish off the session with some good energy work. From there, they could decide, I really like this kind of session. I want to see you again and do this 2-hour session, or I want to see you again and do a shorter session with coaching and Reiki. Or if they're like, I want some hypno work, at least I have notes now that I can tailor what I'm saying in hypnosis to them.
Yeah.
Because now I have notes from our talk, right? It's hard to just jump into hypnosis on the first session because I don't know them well enough, and I want to know them better so that I can make suggestions specific to them, right? Suggestions that are going to motivate you are different from the suggestions that are going to motivate me because we just have different experiences. Yeah. So I try not to do hypnosis on the first appointment because I want to get to know them more first. Yeah. Past life regression is a whole different animal. It's a 3.5-hour session. I think if you have the opportunity, you should do it at least once in your lifetime to figure out who you were and what lessons you already been through in past lives. And it's not religious based or anything, but like I said, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So we're here in the physical right now, but we've been our spirit has been somewhere before this. And that's why we have certain tendencies towards certain things. I never knew why I liked to watch war movies all the time. I love war movies. If you look at me and my husband, we wear a lot of camouflage print things. I prefer that, like there's certain tendencies that I have that I always wonder like, oh, where does that come from? Because my parents never taught me that, or I never did anything like that when I was younger. So if there are even fears, like really that seem like unrealistic fears, because nothing like that happened to you in this life, a lot of times that's how you have passed away in a past life. Yeah. So I work with people on that, and it's probably one of the most fascinating things about out of all my things I offer. I've been wanting to write several books on my clients' past life regressions. So I think I'm gonna start interviewing them for my YouTube channel so that they can, so they can talk about the experience when they're in hypnosis, and most of them see 2 to 3 lives. Or I should say experience, because some people see like with their third eye, but other people like feel it in their body or just have a knowing of what is happening. So that's kind of like, I hope by December, maybe I can interview at least one of my clients about what their past life regression was.
Yeah, it's just you're getting a bunch of hearts right now.
It's so fascinating. Like it's my husband's favorite thing he's my guinea pig. I had to practice on him when I first started all this stuff. And he was like, this doesn't work. Like, he's like, I'll practice with you, but don't be surprised if I can't get there in hypnosis. And I was like, okay. And he went and he experienced things, and it made so much sense to him, like who he is now, and why he has certain tendencies and things like that. And he doesn't feel crazy. And like, I think a lot of times we feel a little bit like, why do we feel that way? Or like, where does that come from? And it doesn't make sense. But then when you experience it in hypnosis, you're like, oh, it makes all the sense in the world. Why I have these certain tendencies or certain fears, or I'm like naturally good at things that other people aren't. It's probably because you did this several times before. So like even people who come to see me to learn Reiki, I'm sure they were a healer in a past life. At some point on their journey, they've done some type of healing work. That's why they're feeling called again in 2020 to find someone to help them continue the healing work in this life. So it's fascinating for me to meet all these people. I had someone fly in from Seattle for my class a couple weeks ago. I love teaching. I really love
You're so great at it.
I love teaching. It's so fun. And like just the energy in like a small classroom setting is just fun.
Yeah, even one of your best friends, did she get licensed or get a certification under you? Amanda?
Yeah. And she's taking clients now.
Cool.
And she's really good at it too. So, and people ask me all the time, like, oh, Britt, who do you go to see for Reiki? And I'm like, my students. Because I trust them because I've trained them.
Yeah.
And they come with the right intentions. I know who they are as people, and I trust their intentions, and I trust how they do Reiki because I've taught them. So that's who I see when I need Reiki.
What an honor. Yeah.
And so my students did work on me. 2 nights ago, they did distance healing on me.
Oh.
So it was really, I slept really good. I slept like a baby that night. So it was really fun for them to do a team healing session on me. So yeah, it's been, see, I'm always teaching, even when I'm always like
When you're
giving
in
homework
surgery.
assignments. Yeah. I'm like, okay, guys, you guys gonna practice some distance work on me today. Yeah.
Hey, just curious. So, okay, so when I was a little girl,
Okay.
I would always pretend that we're playing school, and I would
Okay.
take the role of the teacher. I was the oldest of the cousins, and I would give my cousins homework. I'm like little in elementary school,
Yeah.
right? And I would give them tests, and I would give them stickers for doing a great job. Sometimes they don't want to play with me because they don't want to do homework. I'm trying to like make homework fun. And like I was really big on like shining light on their gifts and like looking for things that they're good
Yeah.
at and like helping them to like develop and grow into the person, they're
Yeah.
and then I would do like little mini fashion shows, and all that stuff has carried on over into my adulthood with what I do as a life coach with Aloha Dream Board and as a stylist and model.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious for you, when you were a little kid, did you see like any of these things that are coming up now in your career? Did you play healer, or did you play like certain things, or were you attracted to certain things that, you're seeing come to light on a magnitude level now?
My parents always said I could talk to anybody. Like I could talk to the oldest person in the room, and I could talk to the youngest person in the room, and I could get along and with anybody. Like I could relate. I knew how to find something we had in common and relate to anyone. When I was little, they always said I asked too many questions, which turned out to be great because I was a journalist. I was a journalist. And then I'm a life coach now. So I think I'm great at asking questions. And they said I just always ask questions all the time when I was younger. I was just, wanting to get to the truth of things. That's what they were saying. I wanted to get to the truth. And if I didn't like the answer and I thought it wasn't the truth, I'd just keep asking. So there was that. And I also remember like the question of like, what if you could have any superpower, what would your superpower be? I would say I wanted to heal people. Oh. And I just remembered that like recently. Like I was like, oh yeah, that was the superpower I wanted. Not to be invisible, not to fly. But if I could heal people, then like they wouldn't die, and then if I could heal myself, then, so that I would give that answer a lot. So I think growing up, a lot of, my mom took me to a lot of different healers. So I was exposed to a lot of different modalities, and she was open to it, but I never thought I would be doing that work until they started telling me as I got older that I had gifts too. And I thought maybe they just say this to everybody. But then things started to unfold and unfold more. And then I started listening to them. And so I've just had a wonderful, I have so many great mentors, and some have passed already, but I just still call on them from the spirit side when I'm doing Reiki to help me. And so I've just been blessed to have people kind of show me a path, a way to go about it, and a way to go about it so that I don't get drained and I can do this and be sustainable about my business, because I do see healers burn out and get really sick or, things like that. So I want to be doing this till the day I die. I want to be able to help people as long as I can channel energy. I will be doing this. So a lot of it is just having those boundaries to have this sustainable practice, I guess you could say, And so I really want to be doing this for a long time. So yeah. But yeah, beautiful. Those are like things as little kids that I can think of. And like I had a past life regression. I'm just gonna say this because I'm gonna put this on my YouTube channel later.
Okay, yeah.
I wanted to see another past life when I was pregnant, and my daughter was in me.
Oh.
So at 7 or 8 months, I went to my friend Jenny, and I said, Jenny, can you do a past life regression session for me? I just want to see if there's like anything else. I kind of want to know if Rod and I knew each other in a life before this. Like, I just want to know, just find another life to explore. I went to her office, and my daughter spirit She was in me already. She had already come through to communicate to Jenny that the session was going to be about her. So she wanted to show me, because this is a very rare time where our souls are like together because she's in my womb. So it's a very rare time that she could actually show me what her past life was. So she used this session to show me through her eyes one of her lives and how she knows my husband. So I'm not gonna say the whole thing because you have to watch my YouTube.
It.
Yeah, but yeah, fascinating that she used that time to show me how her and Rod known each other before this life, and why they're and my part in helping them. So I was like, wow, I didn't know you could even do that. So
if you were to say three, if you were to describe it in 3 words of what your experience was or your aha during that past life regression, what would those 3 things be?
My daughter is bossier than me. Seriously, dude, she's like fierce. Like, she's super cute if you see her picture, but she got some fierceness. And when she's hungry and you're not hurrying up, she's like, ah! Like, she's just like, and I'm like, girl, you're not even 5 months yet. And she's just tells us what she wants. She's so funny. But she's fierce, and she's got some strong energy coming through. Like, she got some purpose. She wants to be here. She's been waiting to come into the physical for quite some time. And with Reef being, you know, we found out he was autistic at 2 years old. She wanted to give him more time with us, because we were going to try for another baby when he was like 2, but then we just waited till now. Like, he's 4 now. So she's been patient. So her energy now is like so strong, and she's just like, I'm here, I want to do stuff, you know. Like, she kind of gets mad that she can't walk yet. Like, that's the energy she gives off every day. Like, she wants to just walk already. Wow. get on with it. So yeah, that was fun to experience that. And then I think just this aha moment of like what my husband was in that past life, I was like, yeah, I always thought you were that too. And yeah, it was just really cool, like, to experience from like her point of view what life was like.
Wow, yeah. How cool. Are you doing these online? Because I know usually you do it physically, like with someone, with your clients, like for they're laying down, you know, you're going through the whole gamut. Like, what are you doing now?
I prefer in person. I haven't, because it's such a long session. I've had people be in hypnosis for over 2 hours in the chair. It doesn't feel like it to them. It feels like it to me, but to them it feels like half an hour. So yeah, I prefer to just do it in my office in a very sacred space. I still, I love technology. I love that we are able to do this kind of thing, but for healing work, I always will prefer sacred space. And if there's no other way, then of course we could do distance work, but I create a sacred space in my room while I'm working on them. But I really like having a sacred space, even when I teach class. Like, I have so many requests to teach online, and I'm trying to figure that out, because I still love the sacredness of the space in the conference room where I teach here, and that energy, and, you know, with no distractions and stuff. So I'm still trying to figure that out. You know, I'm adapting to technology, but I'm also like, if it feels, you know, right to do it the way I do it, then I'm just going to keep doing it that way. So
yeah. Would you say it's a different type of prep for your client and you when it comes to like doing any healing work over technology via compared to like doing it in person?
I think if it's one-on-one, it's not too different. But if it were to be a class online, I think that would be really, really different feeling. And then I do, if they're like a brand new client, never met them in person, I do Zoom with them first. So then we can get a sense of each other's energy. But my regulars, we just talk on the phone. And then we hang up the phone, and then I do the distance healing on them. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's so many things, you know, and I hope I shared a little bit of, and the last thing I was gonna just kind of highlight, and I'm just teasing this too, because I have to give more info later. We're in the process of starting a nonprofit. Yeah, so Rod and I, this has been on my heart for 2 years now. This is going to be Reef's legacy, one of his legacies. It's called High Vibrational Child, and it's a nonprofit, and we will be offering free or discounted Reiki to parents and to kids. And I don't even want to narrow it down to kids like Reef. I just really want to say to kids and parents who need help and who could benefit from Reiki, which pretty much is anybody. So yeah, that's going to be his legacy, and he's always going to be on payroll and have this is going to be for him. And so whatever he wants to do outside of this is up to him, but I know that he will have something that is his own. And his soul has communicated to me on several occasions that he knew that this life was going to be harder. He knew this life was going to be harder for him. And he wanted it that way. He chose it that way, and it's okay. He wanted me to stop blaming myself because I wasn't sure if I did something wrong when he was in my womb. And now we've just fully embraced who he is, and we've embraced the neurodiverseness of, the way people's brains work. And so he's just different, and there's nothing wrong with that. So he's just, he's got it made, like, because he can do, I feel like whatever he wants, and there's no limit, and we're just here to support him, because everything that I think as parents, we think, oh, they have to do this and then go to school and then go to college and get a job and all this. It's like, why? What if we just focused on what makes them happy? They know why they came back. We take 30 years to figure out what our purpose in life is. These kids, they know already. They know why they're coming through, They don't need till they're 30 and did all this stuff to go, oh yeah, that's why. Nuh-uh. They're coming through so strong now, they know why they're here. And so he told me, his spirit told me that he just wants to spread unconditional love and more acceptance. That word acceptance was a big deal for him. He wants people to accept, the way kids are and how they're different. And so you just have to adjust. It's not going to be this cookie cutter mold for every kid. Every kid is different. Yeah. Right? So you have to adjust to that. And that's where I feel like the public school system has to go have a big, I don't know, it just needs an overhauling, because it's just not.
A lot of transformation into more of a loving curriculum.
Yeah, and so even the whole term unschooling, that might be what we do with Reef, because that might be what's best for him to learn in different ways, being at home and doing activities at home, and he can get socializing with people in other ways. So, but that's our nonprofit. We don't know how it's all gonna play out in the next few years, but long-term vision, we would love to have a physical location. It'll be Reef's Sanctuary, and we just see it as a place anyone can come, parents can get support, kids can be with each other, they can take classes on things that they're really interested in, whether it's art or music or whatever, and it's an opportunity for them to socialize. So that's kind of this beautiful sanctuary of acceptance and love.
Is it kind of like a school or
people are oh, it's gonna be
like a school,
like an X-Men school. I was no.
Oh yes! Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I'm probably gonna be teaching energy work at least to the parents. Yeah. So
that's so cool.
It's so, we're just excited because this is just the foundation, but limitless really with what we can do with it. So it's exciting. Yeah.
So you remember Maki, yeah? One of my best friends? Yeah. So she has a nonprofit. You know about her nonprofit, right? Or
yes. Yeah.
Okay. So Ocean's Love. And so, the reason why she started it was because when her brother was 5 years old, he had a brain aneurysm. And then ever since then, they thought he was going to die. And then he did heal. And then he is able to walk again. And he actually has a girlfriend now, lives with her. And he was paralyzed, though, half his body. And so it took him some time and a lot of belief of the family that he could heal. And a lot of miracles happened. Anyway, while they were young, they got bullied, and the whole family really were treated in a certain way that wasn't accepted in society in Japan. And so that really fueled up a lot of anger and questioning of it's so unfair in Maki's heart. And so later on in life, she She saw the opportunity and she chose to create a nonprofit that creates more awareness in Japan and then also now in Hawaii, to create more acceptance of children and families who have kids that, you know, either are autistic or have like Angel's disease, or, you know, just all these different things that prevent them from doing like the average 9-to-5 jobs type of thing. You know what I mean? And what is considered not normal. And at the same time, it's like she realized that everyone has their own unique gifts, like what you're talking about. And her dream too is to eventually have it so that not only are they healing through the ocean, which I want to ask you about the energy of the ocean with Reef and you know, any of your clients that you're talking about, but also she sees like one day having a center where they're able to find their place in society where they can be of service and be compensated for that due to their unique gifts, like what you're talking about. So it'd be cool for you guys to, you know, talk story and see how you guys could, you know, mastermind on both of your nonprofits and you know, what the connection would be. Awesome. That'd be cool. So anyway, so going into the ocean, you know, have you taken him into the ocean? Have you noticed like if he likes it, how, you know, what that energy is like?
Both of my kids love the water, like both of them do, you know. So he likes nature, like he wants to be outside, like, and he went to a preschool, not a preschool, he went, what do you call that, like daycare, and he was bullied because he was 18 months, almost 2 years old, and so the boys were already talking and he couldn't talk, and so he would get bullied because he was the only one that couldn't tell the adult. And I observed it. You know, we pulled him out of there, but
I didn't even know that was possible that young.
And his safe space was always going outside in the backyard. And so whenever he couldn't handle the energy, and I think it was just sensory overload, because I think they needed to balance it with more girls. It was like 9 boys just jumping off the walls. So it was like too much energy for him, you know, it was like too loud. And so he would go outside and they would let him like kind of just do his own thing outside. That's where he felt safe and grounded. And so even now he likes to go for walks. He likes the ocean. He likes to pet plants. He likes animals. So like anything outside feels really, really good to him, and very healing to him. But they really do know what they like. If we just like listen and like observe, like they know what they like. We don't need to tell them. We can expose them to new things. But you know, we really have to take our own insecurities out of the equation, because like I could see how some parents would feel, you know, embarrassed if their kid is different and would want to hide things and try to fit in. But that's not doing anything right by your kid. You know what I mean? So I think, and I'm here to help with that too. I'm here to help people shift their mindset and to look at things differently, because sometimes it's just a mindset shift that we have to do for ourselves. Because like Reef, like he loves it. He feels safe. He has people who understand him. He can be himself. We're always playing music in the background in our house, because that's when he likes music in the background. So we always say like, man, I wish I had Reef's life, because you know, he's loved and he's accepted, and that by at least a handful of people in his corner supporting him and looking out for what's best for him. And I hope that for every child, honestly, to have at least a handful of people that understand them and are looking out for the best interest for that child.
So actually that brings up the question that I ask pretty much every guest, every one of my dates, is what is your wish for the world when it comes to energy? What are your wishes for the world if you have more than one?
Oh man, I want people to be more aware of the power they have within them. The power they have to shift, the power they have to impact people.
When you say shift, what do you mean by that?
Like if you're having a bad day, and so instead of just transferring that energy and being horrible to somebody else, being able to shift and pivot and do something better with that energy, making something, transforming it into something more positive. If everybody had a certain level of awareness about energy, this whole world would be different. And I keep talking about this, but the media, because my background's in journalism, even if the media has some kind of heart and awareness, because as a collective, it's what we're focusing on, right? And so the media doesn't necessarily tell us what to think, but they tell us what to think about, because they set the agenda on what they're going to talk about today. So what are we going to be bombarded with on our phones, on the radio, on TV, on Facebook? They set that agenda. They have things to focus on. So the collective in turn focuses on those things.
Yeah.
Right? And so if they could have a heart and also use the word peace, use the word love, use the word, energy in a positive way, and to have the collective focus on peace and love, like every day for like 2 minutes, it would be amazing the kind of shift we would see as a collective. But everyone's feeling anxious. Not everyone, I don't want to say it like that, but a lot of people are feeling anxious and uncertain right now because of what is being bombarded on TV and news and social media, right? So you guys have to really take inventory on like, where am I getting my information from, and when do I put boundaries for those things too? Because
you're getting a lot of hearts right now on here on Instagram.
That's not necessarily like the truth, right? There's a lot of good things going on in the world that we're not hearing about, and a lot of good things that good neighbors are doing to help each other out, or really good stories that will never come out of the media, right?
Yeah.
Because when you can keep people in fear, it's easy to control them. So I want people to have more of an awareness of how powerful they are, how powerful their thoughts are. And as a collective, if we could get like focused on more love and more peace and more acceptance, this whole thing would shift really quickly, really, really quickly. But yeah, just more awareness, I guess, of it. And I can help in my little ways that I do help. And I want people to remember to focus on what they want to see and not what they don't want to see. So if you want to see more peace, then be pro-peace, right? If you want to be, you don't want to see racism, or you don't want to feel that, don't be anti-racist. Be pro-human, be pro-acceptance, be pro-something, right? So the law of attraction doesn't hear the no part. So if you say anti-racist, you're actually putting out more racist energy.
Yeah.
Right? And you're attracting that. So you have to put out the thing you want to see. Right? Just like GMOs. Remember, everybody anti-GMO. I'm like, dude, be pro-organic or something,
Yeah.
Just
totally.
switch it. Yeah. Just be pro the thing you want to see more. Don't be anti the thing you don't want to see. Be pro the thing you want more in the world, and then focus on that, and let's manifest that as a collective together.
There's a saying, what you think about, you bring about. Where the attention goes, the energy flows. And that's why I'm doing these meet me for coffee talks, is if you notice what we're focused on, and even the headline or like the description, you're never going to see honestly, you're never going to see like how to deal with anxiety or stress, because I'm focusing on what I want to create more of and attract more of and shine light more of, because I feel like in my experience, when I look at CNN or any of the, newspaper or media, there is so much, and even on social media, there's so much on shining light on the parts that you're talking about that, and it is eye-catching, and it is like, oh, how do I deal with this? Because I have that, but then I don't feel like I'm really shining light on what I truly want to shine light on. And so therefore, like, I'll be like, hey, this week we're talking about energy. This week we're talking about intuition. What's coming up for you?
I like that.
Keola says, be pro what you want to be, no anti what you don't want. Like that. Yeah, he likes that. Awesome. Yeah, and then uh, there, I'm curious to know, because I've actually had multiple people share with me this past couple of days, especially, and I felt it as well. And I don't know if it's the full moon, and I do feel this way usually around full moon, is this heavy, intense energy, even with not even watching the news.
Yeah.
And I see some things on social media, but I kind of like block myself from that, that I don't want to focus on. And yet this past couple of days, I felt a heaviness in my body. Emotionally, I've been doing a lot of emotional purging, just all of a sudden. And then even last night, Eric and I went for a walk in the neighborhood, and we got to Diamond Head Road. We turned around, and as we were walking back, I was like, babe, I gotta stop. I feel like I'm walking in quicksand. Like, no joke. I feel so heavy in my body right now. Like my legs feel like I'm trying to like walk through this quicksand, and I just need a break.
Yeah.
Have you noticed any heavy energy this past couple of days or this week? And do you also feel that way like during full moons? Like what's coming up for you?
I think a lot of people are have a lot coming up for during full moons. I think with my surgery and everything, I can't really distinguish what was from that versus the full moon. I actually had a good cry like before I went into surgery in the car with my husband.
So that was yesterday or 2 days ago?
Tuesday morning when he was dropping me off at like 6 a.m.
Okay, 3 days ago.
Because he couldn't come in. And he just had to drop me off because of COVID and stuff. And and he is a really grounding force for me, as well as my son. And so, I was like having a moment like, oh my God, I have to go in there and this, and I'm going under general anesthesia, and like I have 2 babies now, and what if I don't wake up and all this stuff. And so that was going through me. And then I just like cried and like let it go, just like released it, and then got myself together. And I was like, all right, ready to walk in there and do this thing, But just, I think allowing and surrendering to whatever you're feeling in the moment and like letting it flow through you so it doesn't get stuck in any one place is really important, And it's hard here because I can't really get to a nice beach. We have the bay, we still have salt water and stuff, but we don't have like nice beaches here. So I can't like fully get in, like, head to toe. So I've been doing a lot of salt showers. I just use Hawaiian salt that my mom sends me and tries to like scrub and just, just cleanse myself in that way. But I think we have to acknowledge what's coming up and then find a positive way of releasing it, whether it's journaling, whether it's getting in the water, whether, lighting some sage, talking to somebody about it, whatever's coming up. I think that's important. But it is a time of like purging and releasing, and that's why I've been drinking a lot of water too, because from the surgery and all the medicine that they put in me, I need to release those toxins and have my body self-regulate and go back to pre all the medication they just put in me and all the anesthesia and stuff. So it's like just purging that stuff too, So I think everyone, for the full moon, it's different for everyone, like the feelings that come up. Some people are like, yeah, this is great, I slept really well, this is awesome. And other people are like, oh my God, I couldn't even sleep last night, this is horrible. But whatever's meant for you is meant for you to come up and to deal with and like release. So yeah. And just do it in a nice, remember I said energy can be transferred or transformed. So Mother Earth is always the great transformer. So always getting in nature to release that energy is good instead of releasing it on someone else. So going to Mother Earth to release that energy is always probably the best decision.
What about for the people who are stuck in their house because they're quarantined, they're hard. Sick, they're healing, or maybe even, how the air quality has been really bad on the West Coast.
It's bad.
And so it's like, how do I go outside and breathe fresh air when it's super heavy? Like, what do you say to people when Mother Nature going outside physically of the house is not the option for like the day or for the week or for however long?
Been hard. It's been hard for Reef because he likes to take his walks. So we have to go car rides instead.
Oh, okay. Car rides.
So we go car rides. Bringing plants into your home might help too, to feel more grounded, to bring the green in inside. Like I said, salt bath, salt shower is good as well. But yeah, it does change your mood when you can't see the sun for a few days. It does change how it feels. And just like, affecting the lungs too, coronavirus affecting the lungs, the air quality affecting the lungs. So the heart chakra is very under attack in 2020. There's a lot going on to disrupt this center. And this is the thing that's also raising its vibration and wanting to come out more is the heart and love, right? And so just supporting this area. Like I'm gonna probably buy some pretty expensive air filters in the next week for our house. We've been looking at a couple different ones. So just taking care of our lungs in the house is important. But yeah, we just take him for car rides for now, just to get him out a little bit, and as a family just go for a car ride and just try to stay as safe as we can, and like this too shall pass kind of thing. No, it's been pretty rough here in California. And all the West Coast, the whole West Coast,
Yeah, Pam says, I so appreciate that you're asking these questions. She's in Oregon, so they've been having a lot of air quality issues going on as well, especially during like the heaviness of the fires before it was raining. So, yeah, I mean, you know what comes up is like, how cool would it be for like a plant company to offer those services, to drop off the rainforest to your home, to create that sanctuary for you when you're in quarantine and you can't go outside, or if you're sensitive to the smoke outside, and like, you know what I mean, for the people that don't have anything in there, especially at hotels, because over here I don't know how it is, because you're in San Francisco right now, right?
In Alameda, Bay Area.
Anything for a little bit longer? You and Nene. Okay. Mama, give me Nene. My baby wants Nene. It may get a little fuzzy with this. Hey,
buddy.
Hey, say hi, Auntie. All right, let's see how this is gonna work. Let's see, baby. Whoopsies. Oopsies, are you so happy? Yeah. He gets super excited. He's just like,
food.
Yeah, totally. It's so funny. Yeah, I mean, well, wrapping it up, because I know we went a little over an hour. So cool. Instagram is letting me go over an hour now. Before it would cut me out at an hour when I do my lives. So that's cool. So what was I going to say? Blah, 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 creativity. So the creativity that's been coming up, and people, I've just noticed that under the circumstances that we are in, when people have chosen to tap into that creative space and even mastermind with other people, collaborate with other business owners, to create, to look for the problems. Whoops.
Oh.
I had a problem. To look for the problems, and then create solutions, come up with solutions for those problems, pivoting their businesses or creating new businesses because of the new problems that are coming up. I've seen a lot of that, and like how, it just came up about like, you talking about the plants and creating your sanctuary, popped up the idea of, what if, a plant company comes and, delivers the rainforest to your sanctuary in your hotel that like has AC and 0 plants. What would you like suggest for people to do energy work wise that they can do at home to tap into that creativity? What really, in your experience, what opens up that creative gateway for people?
I think I like your thought of like problem solution. We see a problem, and then how do we use our resources to create solutions. So I've been seeing, like you said, a lot of people pivoting their life or their business, or how they parent, or we've had to pivot during COVID, and come up with creative solutions, you know, like how to do certain things. So I think it just sucks that it had to take something like this far for people to like really stop and reflect and like start changing habits and behaviors. And in a weird way, I'm kind of grateful for this time that has made people stop and reflect. Because when you just do the same routine every day and it gets comfortable, you're not forced to change, you know? But this year has forced everyone to stop in their tracks and reflect and go, okay, what's priority? You know, like who are the important people in my life, and how do I, you know, keep sane, and how do I continue, you know, my business or my work that I enjoy, or do I pivot? So there's been so many things that people have had to stop and reflect on, and I think that's when some creativity can really come out. You know, during that time of like, okay, we have to adapt, like we have to find creative solutions for things. And also I think people are being more aware of their energy. I really think people are being aware of like how they're feeling, what's making them feel that way, and having more boundaries and being able to talk to people about these kind of things. I really think we need to keep connecting with each other, you know, just this, like how you and I are talking right now, and how people can listen in, and just feeling a sense of unity and a sense of like sister tribe, you know, and that kind of thing. That's important so that people don't feel so isolated during this time. You know, we've been using a lot of technology. I know people got to stretch and move around because they've been doing this for, you know, 3 hours, 4 hours every day. But I think just community and a lot of reflection has been really good to help people pivot. I hope that makes sense, but
yeah, that makes sense. So it's really like about looking for the problem, creating solutions, and connecting with other human beings to talk, to have a conversation, and co-create. What about the fear? So anybody that gets stuck in that fear set mind of, you know, this is happening, sometimes you just feel bombarded with all of these things that are traumatic in the lens of that person. And, you know, whether it's, you know, people, you know, that them having a family member separated, or seeing violence happening, or you know, being scared of the unknown. When they're in that fear mindset, like what would you suggest to help them to shift that energy into love?
It's
easy to say focus on love, and what can they physically do in your understanding to shift from fear to love?
Like I said, I want people to take inventory on what they're watching and what they're listening to and who they're communicating with. Because sometimes it's not your anxiety, it's your mom's, it's your grandma's, it's your friend, right? So sometimes you have to just take inventory. Is that my fear? Is that my worry? Or am I picking that up from people around me? And do I need to kind of take a step back and go back inward in here and get realigned with myself? So that needs to be asked. They need to ask themselves that question first. For me, like, I really like to take a step back and just remember we're spirit having a human experience. And this is just happens to be the vessel that I chose for this specific life to come and experience certain lessons and certain things, and to help the collective in whatever way I can help the collective. And so when I take like that perspective, things seem less scary. When I really take a step back and, you know, it's okay, buddy. And just
he
like
talks to the nene and then more comes out. It's so cool.
Oh, he's telling it. I'm still hungry.
Yeah, he does these certain sounds, and then it'll just trigger, and then out comes the milk.
Smart.
I'm like, wow.
Oh yeah,
so
that's
cool.
why the body's so amazing. You know what I mean? It's so intuitive and so connected to what your child needs, you know? I just like was saying, just taking a step back and getting some perspective on what's triggering the fear, you know, what's triggering the fear, going to seek help seeing a life coach, seeing a healer, you know, seeing a friend, talking through it, and sometimes just talking through it is super helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Addressing it instead of suppressing it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that it's normal. It's normal to feel those things too.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's okay. Like how you were talking about how you just like, you know, started to cry and express to Rod, you know, your feelings before you went in.
Yeah.
And then it felt like better because you got to release those emotions, and we don't always have it together. And really, what does that mean to have it together, right? Because we're, as human beings, we have every right to be able to feel all the different emotions. And so the other day, Eric and I, when we went for our walk, you know, I had set the context of like, or in my boundaries of like, hey babe, you know, I really just want you to be with me and enjoy the silence. I don't want to talk about politics, and I would like you to just hear me if I have anything to say and share. I just feel fragile right now, and I just want you to hold me. And so we walked, and it was such a beautiful walk, and I just blah 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 blah, you know, shared whatever was on my heart. And then there's a point where we just stopped. He picked me a flower, and that was really nice. And then stopped again, and I just like cried in his arms. And it felt so good to like release. And you know, like I think crying is so healthy, because sometimes like there's these energies that's going on in our body, you know, that's a way of release that a long time ago when I was younger, I thought it was bad to cry. Don't cry in front of people. And I'm going to get in trouble if I cry, or, you know, I had all these beliefs that really didn't serve me. And then now it's like, oh, it's healthy to cry. It feels good to cry. It's a beautiful thing to be able to cry, whether you're a man or a woman. And in fact, when my husband's vulnerable and he does cry in front of me, like I feel that much more connected to him. What are your thoughts on that?
It's funny because when I'm doing Reiki, like when I'm doing Reiki on people, I encourage them to release. And sometimes releasing means crying, you know? So the way we release toxins is through sweat, pee, or tears, right? Sweat, pee, or tears. That's how we release toxins from the body. So why are you
burping and farting, right?
Yeah, that too. And pooping. So it's like, why are you gonna block yourself from one of the ways to release toxins? One of the ways to release toxins from your body is through crying, sweating, or peeing. So before my Reiki sessions, I tell people drink a lot of water, because after I work on you, I want you to just keep using the restroom and release toxins. But hey, if you're in my chair and you want to bawl and let it go, just go ahead, cry in the chair. I mean, I do attunements for my Reiki class when they're getting certified to be Reiki practitioners, and usually there's always one or if not more that are getting the attunement and are just crying, you know, and they're like, Britt, I didn't even know, like, I don't even know why I'm crying. And I was like, that's okay. Because your body wants to do it, let it do it. Right. So I'm attuning them and they're just going, they're just crying. And I'm like, it's perfectly fine.
I used to feel like I'm crazy a lot of times whenever I would have my period. Once upon a time when I had my period. I don't have it. And every month that I would have it, and I would feel like all these emotions, and I'm like, I don't even know why. I don't have a reason to cry. I'm just crying. And but that makes a lot of sense. And you know, I don't really understand still why I would cry so much every time, you know, that period of that time of the month, right before it usually. And it's just like, boom, it's like I've gotten hypersensitive emotionally or something. What are your thoughts on that?
Just see it as energy wanting to move through your body. Just seeing it as, and it's just energy that wants to flow in and wants to flow out. And then you don't want to block the energy. You want it to just do what it feels like it needs to do, right? So if it wants to move through you and it wants to come out, let it go. You know, so I want people to actually look at when they're not allowing themselves to cry, they're actually like blocking the energy flow. And when you block the energy flow, then it gets stuck somewhere in the body. If it gets stuck too long and not addressed, then it turns into something chronic, right? You know,
Yeah.
chronic pain or whatever. So like, you got to let that energy flow to the body.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope
Right,
that makes sense for people.
Yeah, does it make sense to you guys? Sherry says, let's see, she says, I had a good cry yesterday. It was helpful. I've cried many times in Britt's chair and always felt safe, and there is no judgment. Thank you, Britt. Oh,
yeah.
So good. So good.
Yeah. I think, you know what? That's another thing too. Like, I think people need to be able to experience things and not feel judgment. And I think that's why a lot of people come to work with me, because they just feel like they're talking to a good friend, you know, and we're talking eye to eye, you know. So I think people are yearning for that too, more of like the non-judgment and just more authenticity and meeting them where they're at right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Anytime I've been in sessions with you, I feel like it's a safe space.
Yeah.
And that is important to me, is when someone has the capacity in that moment to just be loving, compassionate, empathetic, and accepting, because really I feel like that's all we want as human beings, right? Is to be accepted.
Yes. That's what Reef said. He's like, more unconditional love and more acceptance. That was the main things he wants to get done in the world, is to spread those two messages. And I'm just like, man, you're so brilliant. Like, this is so cool, you know, and his soul just being able to express that to my soul. And, you know, I just look at him, I'm like, damn, you're so confident. Like, you're just yourself. You're just totally you, doing you, you know, and I just want to see more of that people can feel safe to authentically be themselves, because we have so many gifts that I don't want you to be like someone else. I want you to be the best version of you and bring your gifts to the forefront, because that's why you came back at this time with these beautiful gifts. I have certain gifts. Everyone has something to offer. Everyone has these gifts, right? But if we hide them for fear of what people are going to say, or what our parents are going to judge us, or our coworkers, or all these things, then we're not living fully in the purpose of why we came back at this specific time. You know, so we all have reasons and lessons that we came back to learn and understand and contribute. So be yourself, you know, like, and if you can't be yourself around your group, find another group. Just saying, find another group of people.
I definitely feel like your hypnosis session helped me to get deeper and clear out some things that were blocking me from being more me, more of my authentic self.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That I want to leave people with that, to really be their authentic self and to really step into it. And you have to be okay with certain people falling away and other new people coming into your life. But you're stepping into who you really are meant to be, and how you're going to contribute to the collective, and the gifts that you're going to bring forward, and who you're going to inspire by just being yourself. You know, by being yourself. Yeah.
This little guy inspires me every single day, because he is so himself, whether he's in major jolly joy or super sad or like whatever in between. It's inspiring. Pam said, we need to find our tribe. Yes, our tribe is right here. I love our tribe. I love it. So in closing, is there any sort of quote that's been speaking to you lately, or is there a message that's coming from the divine right now that you want to end with? And by the way, thank you so much for your time, for being here with us while you're healing from surgery, and so beautiful and vibrant, and sharing all of this wisdom and your heart with us. So I appreciate it. It's been an honor to have you on.
I think the message I really want to get to people's hearts, and I've said this earlier, is that there are a lot of souls that wanted to come back and be in the world right now. Okay, before we incarnated back here, there was a lot of people who were like, oh, I want to go help at this time. But all of us that are here are the chosen ones to come back and be here during this time, during this election time, during 2020, during when things are being overturned and things are being made right and things are healing. Like, how special are all of our souls to be the ones that are chosen to be here at this time? Okay, so everyone has something to contribute, and your life here is so purposeful. And if you need help unpacking the purpose, I'm here. Or go find someone else to help remind you why you're here, because you're very important and you are meant to be here right now. Trust me, a lot of souls wanted to be here. We were chosen to be here. Like, very, very special time. So that's just powerful. By waking up every morning, you guys are amazing. Trust me, just by getting up in the morning. Like, and if you just need help remembering what that is, like, reach out to me or reach out to another life coach, or, you know, anyone you trust really, to help you kind of explore that a little bit more, to get you to really being like your full authentic self, like, and not being afraid of judgment, and just coming from this true place of like love and connection, for the collective. You know, we're all connected, you guys. We're seriously all connected. That's why I can send distance Reiki, because we're all connected through love. Love is the highest vibration, and love is what connects us to our ancestors, to people who have crossed over, not in the physical. We're still connected to them through love, through that vibration, you know? So I'll just leave them with that.
So beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you, sister. Love you so much. And love you, everybody. Thank you guys for hanging out with us today. And we'll see you again for Meet Me for Coffee tomorrow morning. We've got, you know, a few more days talking about highlighting energy. And I'm super excited. I'm super grateful to be here with you guys. So thanks you.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Mahalo, sister. Okay, everybody. Ahuyo.
Bye.
Bye.